Today's video, I want to talk to you guys about a fly tying tool that everybody should have. Now, I know everybody pushes this and pushes that and says you have to buy this tool or you have to have this tool or whatever, and you can end up spending a small fortune. Trust me, I've done so. This is different. This one's free. Well, if you don't mind stealing, it's free. So, if you don't mind stealing, you can get these for free. In all seriousness, that's true. All you gotta do is go to your local bank, go to the drive-thru and get a click pin. These are one of the handiest fly tying tools that you'll ever get in your life. And almost every bank in America's drive-thru has them, and they expect you to take them. That's what they give them for. There's 4 or 5 in the box. So if you don't want to go to your bank, this one's from an insurance agent. This one's from like an automotive store. And you'll see I have very different kinds. And the reason that I have them is multiple uses. So you can see this one's got like a big taper at the end, and this one's flat. And they have multiple uses, and I'm going to go into that for why. So if you get you one of these things, now don't go driving fast down the highway and getting pulled over by the police and stealing his pin. That might not end real well. If you do, video it. I want to see it. But anyhow, you get you a pin. So now we're tying, let's say we're tying something with some deer hair, okay? And we have a whole bunch of a mess on the end, and we want to make sure that we can get a good finish on it, or we're stopping at a particular color and we want to move to the next color. A knot, you should know, is a half hitch knot. So a half hitch is basically just a one wrap, and you tighten it down really good. And usually I do 2 of them on top of each other to snug something down. If like I'm going to change colors or I'm going to transition to something, or say I'm tying a bunch of flies at once and I stop at a specific point and do all that section, then I start back over to finish another section. Like when I tie Dave's hopper, you know, I'll do all my legs and get all that tied, and I get that back end done, and then I stop and I get all of them done, and then I come forward and I do the deer hair. So when you're doing transitions on flies, this works really well to put that final knot in. Something else it works really well for is a streamer. So if you're tying a big long streamer and your knot's towards the back, a lot of whip finish tools are smaller and it may not reach back there. This kind of will solve that problem. So I'm going to lower the camera and I'm going to show you how. So I have a hook here and I have my pin. So I've got to the point that I want to finish off. All you do, take your pin, wrap your thread one time around it, and pull it down. There's a half hitch knot. So if you do 2 of them together, holds it perfect. Now you'll see when I do a half hitch, I hold my hand on the thread as I ease it forward. Part of that's because I'm old and I have the shakes. Part of it's because I'm special. Because you can see, like, if you just try to do it here, it'll just fall off. Now there's a lot of guys who can whip right through there and do that, but this is just pretty simple and handy for me. And the older I get, the more my shakes take place, so that works for me. This works really well for a half hitch. So if you're tying that and you want to do that, say you have a fly that's just got crap protruding out the front all over the place, you can take and you can tie this half hitch on, pull your thread onto this pin, and you can slide that half hitch right down so none of your thread's getting in the way. This is actually going to push your hair, your marabou, whatever the material is that's bulky and in the way, it's going to pull it up out of the way, and then you can release the thread down and it's not going to catch any fibers. It works really well for that. Now the next thing is a hair stacker. Now I use a little wooden dowel thing that I made, and I drill a hole, so I'm tying a bunch of deer hair, and I can take this and just push it back and push it back and push it back, you know, to tighten it, and then tie the next section. It works really well. It's all I've really ever used other than one of these, but these work just as well. So you got your deer hair on and you got your first one tied in place. You just take this pin and just ram it back as hard as you can, and it will start packing that hair. Tie your next section, ram your pin as far as you can. It'll start packing that hair really well. So when you do that, that will get your hair tightened as big as can be. Now, say you're doing big saltwater hooks and this isn't quite big enough. All you got to do is, if you have a sander, take it to your saw. You can take a pocket knife, you can get it hot, whatever. You can cut this a little bit bigger and waller out that hole basically to where it slides on whatever size hooks you need. I have several of these in a drawer of all different shapes and sizes, and that's why. So there's 2 uses that are pretty handy uses. This next one is kind of my favorite. I have had like literally a dozen surgeries. I've had 5 on one knee, and I don't know what it is. Anesthesia evidently knocks you up and messes you up, but like, I'm a little more feeble than I used to be. I got the shakes. You can tell I'm not what I used to be, so I use a lot of things to cheat to make things better. So say you're tying something like this old muddler minnow, and I'm going to break parts of it off. This is an old one that I've got, but you can see where the hair kind of comes back. So when you're tying that and you have all that hair, normally you'll take and you'll push your fingers back to try to get that where it needs to go. With one of these, you can take that hair and you can just kind of push it back. That's why I like these in different shapes and sizes. So this one is smaller, so I can slide it over a small fly and it works really well. And all you got to do is take it to that small section and it'll push the hair back. And once you got it pushed back, you can hold it in place, wrap and tie, and it works really well. If you have them in different sizes, it works for different sizes of bugs because it can control the fibers and that size and the shape that you need. They work really well. Guys, a half hitch is a really handy thing. It does not replace a whip finish, but if you're in a position where you're having a hard time getting a whip finish to turn out right, if you do a couple half hitches really well, and then a lot of times put like some super glue at the end or whatever, it'll hold. I've done that on some like really articulated, goofy looking flies, but it's an awesome start to stop for transitions. It's just a good thing. And these things, like I say, they're free. Everybody wants to give them to you. There's no need in going and buying a special half hitch tool when you can get one of these for free. But don't just use it for the half hitch. You can stack hair, you can bend hair, you know, you can hold materials back out of the way while you're doing stuff with them. There's a million uses for these in the tubes that they're connected on. So if you don't have one, go steal you one. If you get in trouble, I didn't tell you to do that. So anyhow, I appreciate you guys watching. Next thing, I have got my website up and running. So if you guys haven't went to I'veGotBugs.com, please do so. There's a link to my Amazon page where you can buy my books. There is a link to my Facebook page where we have different fly tying kits and t-shirts and hats and stuff like that you can buy through there. There's also the link to this YouTube channel. And we appreciate you guys. If you guys want to support us in any way, if you guys go down to I'veGotBugs.com, all this stuff is kind of there. And on our web page, or excuse me, my Facebook page, I keep kind of an update about what we do. I go fishing every week, different places, and tying different stuff every week, and it kind of will give you an update about what we're doing. And I'm going to throw some stupid crap out there to try to make you laugh along the way as well. So please go to our web page and check out all the links below in the web page, and we'll be here doing what we do, and we appreciate what you guys do for us. Thank you.